Good evening, everyone. It's 7 o'clock. Thank you for coming. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Al, if you could start us off with roll call.
Benson.
Here.
Sarda. Here. Burdick. Here. Gross. Here. Hoffner.
Here.
Maibaum.
Here.
Minor.
Here.
Moser.
Here.
Mayor Johnson.
Here.
City Manager Nelson.
Here.
City Attorney Denver.
Here. Well, thank you, Commissioners, for being here this evening. Number 2, under routine business, is approval of minutes of our June 25th and July 9th regular meetings. What is your pleasure?
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Does anyone have anything to add? Roll call.
Maibaum.
Aye.
Minor.
Aye.
Moser.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Sarda.
Aye.
Burdick.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Hoffner.
Aye.
Mayor Johnson.
Aye. Number 3 under routine business is City Manager's report.
Honorable Mayor, members of the Commission, just a couple of things. First, I wanted to mention that we did receive notification from Stockwell Engineer that a portion of 8th Street is open. So that's between Lynn and Locust. Also, we received notification from the Department of Transportation that there will be some traffic counting going on state and U.S. highways, so you'll notice some tubing on the streets. Those are regular traffic counts that they conduct, so we'll notice that as well. I would like to hand the floor over to Commissioner Gross, who is going to give an update on the MSAC meeting, which was held on Friday.
Thank you. Missouri River Sedimentation Action Coalition was formed about 2001. Marge Gross was the representative for a long number of years. However, I went to a lot of meetings with her, so I've kind of followed this for a long time. And basically what's happened or what's changed is in 2016, Congress passed the WRDA Act, Water Resource Act, which requires the Corps to develop reservoir sustainability plans. When we were out in Washington in May, we met with the Corps, and basically no one has acted under this act, and we're going, we would like to do that because we have a problem with the sedimentation at Lewis and Clark Lake. And they pulled out a report that showed Lewis and Clark is in the top 10 reservoirs for sedimentation problems. And so they were very interested in talking to us. And basically at the meeting, a number of this Dr. Hotchkiss from Brigham Young University was the moderator and reported he's an expert in terms of sedimentation issues around the world. So he's looked at China, Japan, Switzerland, a number of other places, which I thought was fascinating that other people have the same problem. And this is not a Yankton problem. This is when you build a dam, it becomes a problem eventually. And the Corps lost a court case a couple years ago, and they now are charged with moving Highway 12 for Nebraska because what has happened as the silt fills in, water tables rise. And so you end up with your road is going to erode. And so there's the state of Nebraska is estimating $200+ million to move Highway 12. If you go back to 2011, I think the report for purchasing houses in the Fort Pierre area was over 35 million. And I know it happened further north, same sort of thing. Behind one of the other dams, you have the same problem, and that was a bill over 50 million. So the Corps is going to address this issue. MSAC had tried to start the process by sending a letter, and what the Omaha office told us was an taxing entity to send the letter. MSAC we got to get either Yankton County, the state of South Dakota, Cedar County, Knox County, Yankton County. We have to get a group of taxing entities to make the application. And what the application triggers is, first of all, another study. And for those of us that have been in MSAC for a long time, we're going, no, we don't, we don't want another study. But the study, which for us could be done less expensively than just about anybody else, because this stretch of the river has been studied so often. We're fortunate to have the Missouri River Institute in Vermillion, and they've done a lot of work. Stockwell has done a lot of work. There's a lot of data out there. So instead of costing several $1 million, we think that we can get a study done for about $500,000. Problem is, local match is $250,000. So we've got to go to the state of Nebraska, the state of South Dakota, the counties who have no money, the city who has no money. I mean, we have to take a look and figure out where this is going to come from, or it will not proceed. And so the other interesting piece coming out of this meeting was the Knox County rural water intake. They went down to check it recently, and the sediment is starting to move in, okay? And they're at Devil's Nest, right across the river from BY, and in the course of the discussion, BY stood up and said, well, we have the channel, so we don't have that problem. So BY is not going to be impacted, but Cedar Knox is, and they're at the point where they have to expand or go find another location. They don't want to add on to their current facility if it's going to be silted in shortly. So, I mean, it's that sort of problem that is giving some impetus to this request that we're about to make. There are, the tribes are on board. I mean, it's one of those, it's really interesting to see how this is developing, but we'll have another meeting in a month and put together our request, but it's going to then have to turn around and come to a taxing entity to send it in. So I don't know if that'll be us. I don't know if it'll be the county. We haven't gotten that far, but that was what we did. MSAC feels like we know what the problem is. We've been talking about this problem for 15 years, and but this is the process. So this is what we have to do next.
Thank you, Commissioner Gross, and I presume if there's an actionable item, you'll bring that forward to staff and we'll move forward from there. One other thing I'd like to mention, Commission, is that we had the air conditioning in the senior center building fail. It needs to be replaced. The cost of replacement is about $14,000. That's an unbudgeted item. We're certainly going to try to cover that in our existing budget. However, may not be able to do so. So that area may come in over budget, and I may need to ask you all at the end of the year how to address that. So just want to let you know, but still some hot months left, so we've got to get the air conditioner fixed. But there's no questions for me. I will pass it on to you to continue your business.
Does the commission have any further questions for the city manager? All right, then now is the time for public appearances, and this is a time for the public to address the city commission about items not on tonight's agenda. Josh Swados, I know, is scheduled to appear for Dive in Yankton, so I'd invite you to start us off, Josh.
Get organized here. It's like diving in, no pun intended. So I got a few bulleted items here that we just want to update the commission on where we're at, where we're going, a little bit of a time frame here moving forward with Dive in Yankton. And I did put it in aquatic facility terms this evening, so sticking with the theme of what we're doing in the spirit of a new aquatic facility, you might say we're in cannonball mode or high dive mode in fundraising and education and promotion on this committee. Right now, our large DIY group meets every Tuesday. Fundraising group is meeting every Friday, sometimes more than that. So we got our foot on the accelerator. We know that September's coming here real quick. And we know we've got a lot of work to do in between now and then because our end goal and our dream is a new aquatic facility, so we continue to meet regularly. Mark your calendars. We're going to do one more community forum on Wednesday, September 5th at Yankton Middle School. Huge thanks to Dr. Kindle and Yankton School District for letting us use that facility. This is going to be our final education piece as we bring this project back to the City Commission with what we've accomplished throughout the summer. A huge thank you to our local media. And I know some of you are in the room this evening. We have all of the media in Yankton, radio and print, sitting at the table with us. We've had a couple meetings, and you don't see that a lot in communities. In fact, our group was educated here a while back. An individual from a radio station said, you know what, if you even mention the other radio station, or if you even mention the print media in bigger cities, that's grounds to get you fired. So, whoa. That was eye-opening for us, but we have all the media at one table. We've met twice. We're going to continue to meet, and we're going to do a big radio-a-thon on Thursday, September 6th. We're going to follow up the community forum, and all of our radio stations are going to broadcast at various locations throughout the community. You might even hear radio personalities going on their competitor stations. And they did this over in Cherokee, Iowa, raised a lot of money. And we're going to give that a shot here in our community. So you're going to start to see some banners hanging around the community. And Thursday, September 6th, might be a crazy day here in Yankton as they're going to broadcast for, I believe it's over 13 hours just throughout the community and try a final fundraiser push for what we're doing here. So as you see those media folks, and I know, again, I mentioned some of you are here, huge thanks to what we're doing here. This Saturday, Rock and Rumble. Downtown Yankton events. DIY is going to be set up from 9 to 3. We're going to be down at the Meat and Street Downtown Trunk Sale. That's something new for us. So we're going to set up down there. We're going to promote what we're doing. We're going to have some pledge cards available. And more education, more promotion. Riverboat Days Parade. Look for a tidal wave of white t-shirts because we're going to come out in full force that evening. Or that day. We'll be actually out and about that whole weekend, but white t-shirts. I got something here for you. These are hot off the press today. You're going to get first crack at what we're doing here. I got them all sized out. Dave? Did Kelly leave? I was wondering if we could get a photo op here. If you would you all stand up, show the front and the back? This is our t-shirt. This is our promotional blitz here with t-shirts out in the community, and we're going to start distributing those. And then on the back, pretty fitting saying. So look for that in the Riverboat Days Parade. In terms of education and promotion, we're out in the community. We're hitting all the service clubs, community organizations. We're working on another promotional video. I don't know if you all seen the video that was done here just recently by Austin. Austin is the intern for YEPG, and Austin did a dynamite job on our first video promoting what we're doing. We're going to start working with Austin, and you're going to see a couple more videos now between now and the middle of September when we get ready to wrap the project up. Just keep watching our Facebook page, and we ask that if you see those on our Facebook page, share them if you would, please. It's good traction for us as we keep getting out and about. You're going to start seeing another series of articles come out in the press in Dakotan. We're really going to hit the print media hard. We did receive some feedback here recently that, hey, we really didn't know what was going on, and that had a lot to do with the folks that don't follow us on social media. So we're going to ramp up our story and what we're doing here in the print media here real quick. You're going to see more and more letters to the editor. Casey Haberman, who couldn't be here with us tonight, has done an excellent job of creating a schedule of letters to the editor. And we're also getting folks from the community that have just started email and stepped up, seen other DIY members say, hey, can we write a letter to the editor? And hey, anything that you can do to support what we're doing, that would be awesome. Submit them and keep on supporting what we're doing. Has anybody visited the pool this summer, lately? Yeah, hands in the crowd. We have a poster up there, a large poster board that we created for the kids. And I got to tell you, we've had a couple promotional events ourselves up there with Dive in Yankton, and every time we go into the pool, those kids are so excited. It's contagious. It's crazy. They'll run up to us and say, hey, is that our new aquatic facility? And we say, with any luck, that's going to be our new aquatic facility. And you should see the smiles on those kids' faces, and they light up when they point to the water slides or the lazy river. And it's exciting. It's been very fulfilling to our group to go to the current pool and showcase the new aquatic facility and what could be, and just the buzz around that facility that's created there. Huge shout out to the Boys and Girls Club. We've included them in everything that we're currently doing. And just recently, the kids in the art classes up there come up with a design your own concept for a new aquatic facility. And some of those are pretty elaborate. And I don't know if we could quite pull them off, but the dream is definitely there. And those kids they're on board with what we're doing there. Has anybody seen the number of kids walk down the street to that swimming pool on any given afternoon? There's days that there's about 300 kids from the Boys and Girls Club that use that current facility. 300 kids. And we had a presentation last week in our Sertoma, or 2 weeks ago in our Sertoma Club, where the Boys and Girls Club had a chance to present. There's over 1,300 kids served by our Yankton Boys and Girls Club. What would it, I always ask those kids when we go there, because I do the STEM project, what would a new aquatic facility mean to you? And it's just pandemonium. So we've included that Boys and Girls Club over there every step of the way, and that is a bright, shining star in our community. And so for those 200 to 300 kids that go down to that facility every day, that's big for us. So time frame on this. We're going to continue fundraising here through the end of summer. We're going to continue to do our education, our promotion, our Facebook, our print media. Any way that we can get in front of a group to educate, that's what we're going to do. We're going to come back to you folks in September with the money that we have raised. And at that time, we're going to give you a little update, and that's when we're going to ask the City Commission to move this project forward. So as I said, it's a pretty tight window, and we want to thank you for your support as we move this forward. And as we've said all along, DIY is a group of citizens. We're just a common group of citizens working with the city, community members, business folks. We're trying to raise money. We're trying to raise awareness, and the ultimate goal is the dream of that new aquatic facility. And every one of our group members would agree, and we say this in our Tuesday meetings, these are exciting times in Yankton. The momentum is there, and if we were ever going to get an aquatic facility moving forward, now would be the time to do that. So at this time, I want to walk you through a little exercise that we do some of our investors. So close your eyes. Are they all closed, locked tight, nobody can see? I'm going to create a scenario for you here. You're in Memorial Park. Nice day. Humidity's down, but it is really nice. It might be a gentle breeze. But you're at a nice, new, modern aquatic facility. And when I say new, it is the top of the line and something that our community can be proud of. It's a facility where families spanning ages young to old go and have fun. You can hear kids screaming, yelling, having fun, and you see all ages enjoying themselves. Open your eyes. It's a pretty cool image, isn't it? Yeah, that's why we're doing what we do. That's why we're doing what we do, is dive in Yankton, because we all have that dream, and that is our vision to make this become a reality. So in conclusion here, we've walked you through what we're doing, kind of some of the steps that we're doing here. I want to issue a group challenge and share a story with you here real quick. So about 2 weeks ago, my kids follow the project pretty close. The kids on our street, we live pretty close to the current pool, and every time the pool topic comes up in conversation with the adults, I get hounded by my kids. Dad, when are we going to get a new aquatic facility? Dad, when's this going to get done? Dad, when are they going to start moving dirt with backhoes over there? So they're pretty observant. And my 10-year-old, and those who know him, he can be a little bit deviant, and he's curious. I'll just leave it at that. I was cooking supper 2 weeks ago, and he come up to me in the kitchen, and he goes, Dad, you know that $5 that I just earned from sweeping Aunt Kathy's garage? Take it. And he handed it over to me. He said, fill out a pledge card and put it towards the aquatic facility. I looked at him, and anybody that knows my 10-year-old would know that he has $5 spent before it even hits his pocket. So I took his $5. I promised him I would fill out a pledge card, and he goes, if I earn any more money the rest of the summer, you can have that for the aquatic facility too. I was pretty floored by that. And at 10 years old, I think he's starting to see the bigger picture here, and he's been to Vermilion, he's been to Norfolk, he's been to Wisconsin Dells, and they use our current pool religiously every day, him and his brother and all their little buddies, but they're catching on. And it's time. It's time that we do something nice in terms of a new aquatic facility, and I think that our kids and I think all ages in our community deserve something nice. Everybody else around us is doing it, and it's time for us to get this done too. So my challenge to the group here this evening is I have some pledge cards here, and I'm going to leave them on the back table. When you walk out of here tonight, take your city commission hats off. Grab a couple of those pledge cards. You're going to go to work tomorrow. You're going to see family. You're going to see friends. You're going to see coworkers. Invite them to take the journey with us. Have them fill out a pledge card. It's an investment in the projects, an investment in the community, and this is a good thing for Yankton. So, in true dive-in Yankton fashion, it's time to take the plunge. Questions? Thank you.
So, Josh, thank you for all you've done and all your group has done for the community and getting this thing rolling. I do have some pledge cards at the shop too. One thing I did notice is a lot of the pledge cards, they don't say anything about kind of like multi-year pledges. Are you taking multi-year pledges?
Yeah, yep. We've been very upfront with a lot of folks. They can make the investment over 5 years. And a big question that we have is will you collect that money? And the answer is if the project goes forward, which we're hoping, that's our goal, we'll collect the money after the project goes forward. And if you see anybody from XYZ, thank them too for allowing us to work underneath their umbrella. That's huge.
Well, I'd like to start out by I'd like to pledge $300 a year for 5 years, personally for me. I think it's a great project, and I'm excited too.
Jake's looking at me. I've been after Jake to name a water slide. Well, Charlie, you name the lazy river?
Well, Josh, thank you for your inspiring leadership. Like you've said, I've been in rooms of kids and adults alike, and their faces light up when we talk about that project and the potential of it. So, we wouldn't be where we are today without you and Dive in Yankton contributing so much of your time and resources to this effort.
Yeah, this is a team effort. I don't take any credit. It's a team effort. We all have our different parts, and thank you for your support. It is truly appreciated. If we didn't have a support of our commission, I can guarantee you I wouldn't be doing this project myself, because it's a lot of time, talent, and treasures. So, Thank you all.
Any other commission comments or questions? All right, thank you very much. Does anyone else from the public wish to address the commission about something that's not on the agenda tonight?
I don't know if it's on the agenda or not, but I want to talk a little bit about Fox Run.
We will be talking about that later
Will you
on the
give me a
agenda.
chance to talk then?
Absolutely, yep.
Perfect, I'll wait.
Thank you very much. Anyone else wish to address the commission? All right. Then we'll move on to old business. Number one under old business is consideration of memorandum 18-153 regarding the request for a new retail on-sale liquor restaurant license from January 1st to December 31st, 2018 for El Tapatio Family Mexican Restaurant. What is your pleasure?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Does the commission have any questions on this item?
I'm assuming that this is one of the city licenses, since the 17 that are existing, none, to my knowledge, none have traded hands.
Correct. It would be a new issued full-service restaurant on-sale liquor license.
Does anyone from the public wish to address the commission on this item? Roll call.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Thank you. Now we'll move on to new business. Number one under new business is consideration of memorandum 18-156 regarding a school resource officer agreement between the City of Yankton and the Yankton School District. What is your pleasure?
Move the memorandum.
Okay.
We have a motion and a second. Amy, would you like to introduce this item for the public, please?
Sure. Honorable Mayor, members of the commission, and public, as you know, we've worked for some time to look for a full-time school resource officer. Back in December, you all approved in concept the sharing of the expense of a full-time school resource officer, knowing that Officer Dan Thompson was going to be retiring in May. And he did retire, and he said he's retired, meaning he's really going to retire. And but we've heard that from other people too. But we did look for a school resource officer full-time. We had several different interview processes and worked with Dr. Kindle, Dr. Jonke, as well as with Todd Drachik regarding that. And they identified someone who we think will be excellent at that position. That's Officer Preston Chrissy. He's been with our department for a number of years now, probably 4 or 5 years. He's excited about the position. He is excited that he lives near the school, and he's excited to grow that position even broader than what it was previous, now that there is a full-time slot. So the agreement before you talks about how those expenses will be divided and who will pay for what. Essentially, it will be a 75%, 25% city school split, with us being 75% of the split. Also, this officer will work for us, obviously, when school is not in session as a patrol officer. So I'm happy to answer questions if you have them. This agreement, if approved this evening, will be considered by the Yankton School Board at their next upcoming meeting.
Does the commission have any further questions on this item? Does anyone from the public wish to ask the commission a question on this item? Roll call.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Number two under new business is consideration of memorandum 18-155 regarding appointment of city commissioners to our naming rights committee. Do we have any volunteers?
I will.
Tony and Chris? All right. Well, thank you very much, commissioners. Hopefully we have a busy naming rights committee season ahead of us with the pool. Number 3 under new business, consideration of memorandum 17-157 regarding sidewalk cafe license for Walnut Tavern, which is at 100 West 3rd Street. What is your pleasure?
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Does the commission have any questions on this item? Mr. Mingo, did you want to talk a little bit about their proposal?
Sure. Somewhat similar to some other locations where we have corner property owners, where we have the traffic calmer systems adjacent to them. As you know, with the sidewalk cafe permit, there needs to be a 5-foot pedestrian zone maintained. And in some instances, the cafe seating is right next to the building with the 5-foot pedestrian zone pushed out away a little bit. In instances on the corners, typically like this, we end up with the 5-foot pedestrian zone adjacent to the building, and then the seating out on the traffic calmer area where that bubble curb line pushes out into the street. The plans have all been submitted by the owner, and Joe Morrow has reviewed them and prepared the drawing that's attached here, and staff recommends approval.
Any further questions from the commission?
Now, I would ask Dave, I see there was one day there was a food truck and some picnic tables there. Is this drawing that those picnic tables plan to stay, and are they more permanent per the requirement, or is what they had out there before approved furniture and all of that's good?
So that's not what's in the plan here. The plan here is for 6x5 tables with umbrellas. I don't know the exact dimensions of the picnic tables that were there for that temporary event, but that's not what's included in the plan. Any adjustment from the plan that you see in your packet in that drawing would have to be part of an amendment. They'd have to request approval to do anything different than what's in the plan.
Just to clarify too, this is just going to be beverage sales, right? I mean, it's a sidewalk cafe, but there's no food involved in this application, essentially.
It
right?
can be. They serve snack type items there also.
Any further questions from the commission? Does anyone from the public wish to address the commission on this item? Roll call.
Aye.
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 Aye, motion passes. Number 4, under new business, is consideration of memorandum 18-159 regarding Chan Gurney Municipal Airport barrel hanger re-roof bid recommendation. What is your pleasure?
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Mingo, would you introduce this subject
Sure.
to the public, please?
For those of you that are out to the airport once in a while, you recognize the big barn-looking hangar. It looks like a half a barrel above the ground. We've had issues with roofing on that for a number of years. The previous roof material that was put on was not really rated for the type of winds we get in this part of the country. And in the roofing before that was the original burlap tar roof that was put on it during construction. We had Joe Morrow prepare a set of specs that includes impact rated shingles, membrane system on the top part, which is pretty flat, and also wind loads that are about twice as capable of withstanding wind loads about twice as much as the past roofing material. So I think this one is rated for 130 mile an hour wind loads. We had 5 plan sets out. Hopeful for multiple bids, only ended up with 1 bid, but we're very confident that the bid that was submitted is a competitive price and would recommend approval as bid.
And that bid was $76,885.02. Are there any further questions from the commission?
Can you just explain the attached spreadsheet where it says the base bid 76,885.02? Underneath that, what's the 29 exactly? The 29,000?
So we had an alternate in the bid that would have totally replaced the roof sheeting too, or added another layer of roof sheeting underneath the shingles. If that would have come in maybe half that amount, we would have looked seriously at considering adding that to the project. But the way we spec'd out the project with the nail lengths and what's called a dab tab to hold the shingle systems down, we're very confident that the base bid is going to be a great product for us and last a long time. We were just a little curious what that additional improvement might have cost, so we included it in the bid as an alternate that we're not going to accept, not recommending accepting.
Probably, probably important to point out that it is a revenue-producing facility for the leases on the airport, and very needed because of the limited space we have right now.
And from a maintenance standpoint, we've spent a lot of time and effort trying to keep the shingles on that building and the leaks from getting any worse, and so we're really thankful that we're in this year's budget and hopefully get it done.
And the other entities that are listed here, they pulled an application but didn't submit it. Is that why we don't see any bid amounts from them?
So they requested plan sets, but they did not submit a bid.
Understood.
Correct.
Any further questions? Does anyone from the public wish to address? Yes, Ed, please step to the podium.
Edward White. I want to know what is the warranty on that? How long are they going to excluding tornado weather? What is the warranty on that roof? How long can you expect to last? 15 or 20 years, or sort of a tornado?
The workmanship warranty is standard for contractors, is a year. The materials warranty is much longer than that. I don't know it off the top of my head. I'm guessing with 130-mile rated shingles that it's got to be 20, 30 years at least or more. I can find out and let you know if you're curious about the materials warranty. But
thank you.
Yeah.
Does anyone else from the public wish to address the commission on this item? Roll call.
Aye.
Ferdig.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Hoffner.
Aye.
Mybom.
Aye.
Aye.
Mosier.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Mayor Johnson.
Aye. Motion passes. Number 5, under new business, consideration of memorandum 18-161 regarding resolution 18-46, which is a plat for 2603 West 11th Street. David and Mary Ellen Klein are the owners. What is your pleasure?
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions from the commission on this item? Does anyone from the public wish to address the commission on this item? Roll call.
Aye.
Aye.
Mybom.
Aye.
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 Benson.
Aye.
Aye.
Mayor Johnson.
Aye, motion passes. Number 6, under new business, is consideration of memorandum 18-162 regarding resolution 18-47, which is a vacation of a to-be-determined address at Joseph Circle and Vincent Drive. Ralph Marquardt, Lucille Marquardt, Doug Marquardt, and Peggy Marquardt are the owners. What is your pleasure?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Does the commission have any questions on this item? Does the public wish to address the commission?
I just got a quick question. The agreement that's in our packet here, we've got 4 entities listed. Ralph, Lucille, Doug, Peggy, but there's a power of attorney arrangement, but there's no signature for Lucille. I'm assuming we're just seeing a copy.
Yeah, actually, Ralph and Lucille are out of country, or were at the time we needed this prepared and resubmitted back to us. Her signature will be on it before we would record it. As far as the agenda item, a couple of items down with the annexation, or the next one I should say, you only need a majority of the owners to sign anyway, but I discussed it with the owners and advised that it would be okay to move forward pending her signature if the other 3 were accounted for. If I may, there's a couple other comments about this agenda item. This is it's actually not a vacation, so to speak. It's an actual plat review. The word vacation is in the description because there was a small piece of ground that's being overlaid by this plat. so the surveyor had to call it out as that. So the title is kind of a typo as far as the description. The other thing that this is it's an exciting addition to the community. It's 24 additional single-family housing lots that our private developers come forward with, and acknowledged and agreed to petition you to have it annexed in the next agenda item. The engineering design has all been submitted and reviewed and recommended for approval by our engineering staff, and our standard developers agreement is attached, and that's been executed by the owners also. So pending this action, should be full speed ahead on that development.
Any further questions? Roll call.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Number 7 under new business is consideration of memorandum 18-163 recommending approval of resolution 18-48, which annexes this same to be determined address at Joseph Sir. Again, it's Ralph, Lucille, Doug, and Peggy Marquardt as the owners. And Dave gave a very nice introduction to this before. Does the commission have, or what is your pleasure?
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Does the commission have any further questions? Does anyone from the public wish to address the commission on this item? Roll call.
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes. Number 8 under new business is consideration of memorandum 18-158 regarding a letter of intent with Great Life Golf and Fitness Club. And I think we'll start with Amy introducing this item.
Sure. Honorable Mayor, members of the Commission, a couple weeks ago, Friday, July 13th, Todd Larson, Parks and Recreation Director, and I met with Don Hill of Great Life Golf and Fitness Center, who was here this evening to discuss an interim management agreement between the City of Yankton and Fox Run Golf Course. As many of you know, our pro, Tom Jeffers, left for other employment, and he is now gone, actually already at his new place of employment. And so we hope that we have a few months of good golf left here weather-wise, and so we want to make sure that we have the proper staffing and proper support to get through those months. Now, right now we do. We're fortunate enough, as you know, to have great full-time staff at Fox Run Golf Course, but also we have some really great sort of permanent part-time staff who've been with us through the summer. Many of those folks are teachers or college students, and they'll be returning to their full-time commitments and employment here in the very near future. In order for us to move ahead rapidly with boots on the ground from Great Life, we talked about this evening asking you to entertain a letter of agreement, which you have in your packet basically, between Great Life and the City of Yankton to come together and to have some folks from Great Life help us out here transition as we discuss an interim management agreement for the rest of the season that we plan to have before you at the August 13th City Commission meeting for the remainder of the golf season, whatever that ends up being. So if approved, Mr. Hill and his staff intend to hold a meeting sometime within the first week of August for the Fox Run members and interested public to answer questions and respond to the feedback regarding the interim management agreement and get an idea of what types of things are important to the golfers and to the public with Fox Run. We've already communicated with Great Life those elements that are important for you all at the City Commission level in terms of the future of Fox Run. So Todd Larson's here to help answer questions, as is Mr. Hill, if you have questions of him. So with that, I'll let you all discuss.
And if we approve this agreement, that commits us to an initial payment of $9,740, correct?
Correct.
With that explanation, does anyone wish to make a motion on this item before we move
Move to
on?
approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Todd, do you have anything you want to add to Amy's comments?
No, I think she summed it up fairly well for us. With Tom leaving, it kind of caught us off guard, and so
we're just trying to make sure that we can get through 2018 with no hiccups out there that would hurt us in the future.
And Todd, maybe you could explain, or Mr. Hill, for these couple of weeks, what would we see? What comes with that? Golf operations is normal? What happens there?
Sure. First of all, by way of introduction, I'm Don Hill, president of Great Life in the Sioux Falls area. My background is city government. I was in city government in Sioux Falls for 28 years, the last 13 as fire chief, and I retired from that 7 years ago. I also am a golf course owner. My family and I built a golf course south of Sioux Falls called Baker Crossing on our family farm. So have somewhat of a background there in both city government and golf, and personally involved in golf as well. We would be trying to do business as usual for the rest of the golf season if you approve this letter of intent and then the management agreement. Basically, the season has been set, the memberships are in, the revenue's in. You have a great staff out there. The course is in excellent condition. The staff is friendly. I have met with them a few times. In fact, I just met with as many of the golf team as could be there today at 5 o'clock. And we're impressed with what you have. And we know that it's difficult to run a golf course as a municipality, and we're here to help out, and we would provide support for your existing staff now through people who are experienced in golf course operation and in the PGA Pro. We have a PGA Pro coming up. So to add a couple of full-time staff immediately, or next Monday, and then evaluate as we go forward for the management agreement.
Commissioners, do you have any further questions? I would just like Todd to maybe address what we've seen as far as rounds of golf, revenue at the golf course. Kind of tell us the story of what we've been seeing out there.
So to start the conversation with rounds-wise, looking back in time, back to 2009, we had 35,000 rounds. About our peak was a couple years earlier than that, around 36,000 rounds. Through time, each year we've been going down just slightly with one increase in there. A couple increases in there. We've dropped to 32, then it went down to 24, came back up to 27,000 rounds, then we dropped to 20,000. In 2014, we were back up to 23. 2015, we were at 24,763. In 2016, we were at 19,231. And then in 2017, we were at 19,213. So we're almost half of the rounds what we had in our peak back in 2007, 2008 on rounds. Revenues loss-wise, just looking at the last 3 years, 2015 we lost $90,799. In 2016, if you remember, we went to 3 full-time clubhouse staff after some customer service issues and concerns were brought forward to us. So in 2016, our loss was $199,677, and then last year in 2017, we did only have 2 full-time clubhouse staff in the clubhouse again, so then our loss in 2017 was $90,269. Again, through time, going back 10 years or so, things that we've changed to try to get more golfers, because that's obviously what we're talking about when you hear about the rounds almost being in half. Back when I first came to town, there was a summer golf pass and there was a winter golf pass. Eventually, we combined that into one annual pass to try to build some value into what people were paying for. A golf simulator was added in the clubhouse for in the winter to try to generate some winter revenue. We've gone to kids 14 and under golfing free with an adult, knowing that if we're going to try to grow the game, we got to get kids involved. So we made that switch on memberships. 2015 and 2016, trying to drive some walk-up golf. We did some promotions, we're giving away a free sleeve of golf balls with paid green fees. Again, did that in 2015 and 2016. As we looked at memberships, again, we made an adjustment after 2016, I believe it was, or it was in 2016. We looked at the 18 to 30-year-old market. Again, from what we've heard, millennials getting into the game of golf, they may be playing golf in non-golf course settings, but not as much on the golf course. So looked at making some changes there. We instituted a fee for 18 to 30-year-olds when they bought season passes. And then as they get to 31 years old, then the pass fee that they would pay goes up. Again, 2015, we tried to make some changes to league in the amount of money, again, from what the league players paid in and what we had to pay out. Tried to make some changes there to generate some more revenue. 2016, going back to 2014, we also had made some adjustments on food and beverage prices. Again, trying to keep ahead of what our margins need to be on food and beverage. We've been monitoring that as we've gone through the years. 2016, again, we talked about the 3 full-time clubhouse staff. We also made the switch saying that the grill needs to be on anytime the clubhouse is open to better serve our customers that way on the food and beverage side. And then in 2017, last year, Tom was able to institute a loyalty and a rewards program to those people that are members out there for the amount of money they spend to get some money back and to help pay for their season pass in the following year. Rate adjustment wise, in 2016 we had a 0% increase on rate adjustments out there. In 2017 we had a 4% increase, and then in 2018 we had a 2% rate increase. And as Don was talking today to our staff, looking at the overall state golf courses in the state of South Dakota, there's probably 2 golf courses that Don's maybe aware of that 2 municipal golf courses that can turn a profit at the end of the year. So any other data you're interested in, we can look up.
So, Don, you have pretty extensive experience in this industry. You know, I think nationwide we're seeing a decline in the rounds of golf being played, and I think what we as a commission are trying to do is be proactive about, you know, fighting back against that trend and trying different things to maybe help it be, if not profitable, at least less expensive to us. So can you talk a little bit about what you're seeing and maybe ways that your company is addressing those trends?
Sure. First of all, you're right about golf being in decline. I can't remember if it was, I think it was 2014, if I remember correctly. 157 courses closed in the United States and 14 opened. Golf has been in decline since about 2000, and it's seen a few upticks here and there, but really the problem that golf has is that it's expensive, as you know from running a golf course with the city, and it's expensive to play, and as less people play, then you're forced with the choices of, do you subsidize a golf course with a municipality or do you raise rates because golf is expensive? And the second thing it has is that it takes a lot of time, and we know that in today's society people are busier than ever, and so golf is that way, and we think we have a model to address those 2 things. And then also it's pretty difficult. Golf is a hard sport if you don't play it a lot. Even if you do, I mean, if you guys watch any of the British Open, Tiger Woods, he plays a lot. He struggled a little bit as well towards the end, but it's a difficult game, and so we really think that we have, to the Great Life model, I'm just going to transition to that, we really think we've discovered the future of golf. in combining golf and fitness, and it's showing up at our golf courses in the Sioux Falls area. It's not uncommon for the courses that we have run by Great Life to see the rounds go up 100% in the first 2 years. Very significant, and it really is the combination of golf and fitness together that makes that work. Because as the golf market is shrinking, the fitness market is still there, and we get a lot of members who would never join a golf course, never would have joined a golf course, never have joined a golf course, but they do because they're fitness people and they play golf a little bit. And so it makes sense for them to join a golf course and fitness center together. We're also seeing a huge change in the demographic of who's playing golf. Anecdotally, we're seeing a large number of women golfers that we didn't see at our courses before. We're also growing the game through involving more kids and families together. Our mission is to enrich the lives of families and individuals through golf, fitness, and healthy lifestyles. And so we offer things like free golf clinics for kids, free golf clinics for adults, free golf clinics for families to get them involved. We also encourage families with small children to come out and play 3 holes if you want. And they can do it because of the price of our membership. They don't have to worry about, I'm going to get my 9 holes in here regardless of how unhappy Johnny is with playing. He's bored after 3 holes. And so we're able to do that and accommodate all those things because we have some professionals who have bought into this system and maximize the use of the golf course. And in all that time, we've still been able to cater to our core golfers, the people who play a lot. We keep leagues, we have events, we have a lot of events. We've added leagues and events as we've gone forward to keep the people who know and love the game interested, because if they're not leaving the game and we're adding new people to it, then we're growing the game. And so that's what we've done in the Sioux Falls market. We've been able to take courses that were borderline, just barely surviving, and turn them into courses that make money. And so we really do think it is the future of golf. If golf is going to survive, something has to change. I think it was 2016. Tom Walsh, who's the primary owner of the Great Life in Sioux Falls, and a guy named Rick Ferrant, who invented Great Life in Kansas and Missouri. They were named as the number 2 and 3, respectively, innovators in golf in the world. And so the change has been that dramatic with the change in the model for golf. We're actually doing things that everybody else is trying to do. We're growing the game.
Do any other commissioners have comments or questions? Don, thank you for that introduction to your vision. Now I'll turn it over to the public. Does anyone from the public wish to address the commission? And I would ask you to state your name and your address.
My name's Dan Slowy. I'm 2709 Abbott Circle. I would like to ask a bunch of questions. Not all these questions are mine. All right. A lot of my friends are out at league right now spending money at your guys' golf course. So you have to bear with me a little bit. I do want to know, since it was brought up tonight, though, one of my questions is, what is important to the city council for the golf course? What is important to you guys? It's something to think about. And then another thing, I was at the golf advisory meeting on Thursday of last week, and it couldn't get brought up because there was no quorum, there wasn't enough people there. But there was a lot of questions at that meeting. Some were answered, some were not. One of the first questions was, how come the golf course's loss in revenue every year is so highly advertised in this town? Al, maybe you can answer some questions for me. How much does the bridge make or lose every year? The library, the cemetery, the parks, the walking and bike path, the senior center, the airport. That is never mentioned in the media, but Fox Run is always constantly mentioned that they are losing money. Is it not a quality of life thing? One of my friends texted me tonight and he said, hey, I got a question for you. I got a golf. Bring this up to them. If they're not doing well with this stuff, isn't that kind of a management thing that starts at the top and comes down? It's not rocky. Maybe it starts with the city council. Goes to Amy, goes to Todd. It's a management thing. Okay? That's one of their questions. All right? There is a fear of if Great Life comes in amongst the members. A big fear. Because it's change. They may come in and do better than what we can do. We don't know until it happens. But there's a big fear. You guys don't like change. I don't like change. No one likes change unless you know it's for the better. We don't know if it's for the better. All right? Kind of in the proof will be in the contract, whatever you guys can do. All right? Some other comments and questions that are not mine again was if you're willing to give money to other places through whatever donations that the city and the taxpayers' money goes to, why is it such a big deal for Fox Run? And there's a lot of people, and they can't be here, like I said, 60 some of them are golfing right now. They can't be here. They want to be, but if they miss golf tonight, their team does not have a chance to win the league tournament. So they can't be here. You know, but when is you guys as a city council or Todd or Amy ever sat down and talked with the members? What can we do to improve? Is there any way you guys can see to make some more revenue? Just things like that. Before you jump elsewhere, maybe look at home a little bit. There's a lot of good things here in Yankton too. All right? That's about all I have to say right now. I know you guys may be looking for future with Great Life and stuff. I would suggest you as a city council, a group you or whatever, have some public forums, and not over lunch hour. Not everyone can meet at lunch hour for golf advisory meetings. I can't. During my job, during school year, I have to miss 9 of them. I get to catch them in the summer, happen to plan a vacation over one of them. I get to go to 2 all year long. Have one at 7 o'clock at night sometime in the middle of winter. People might come and they might have some dang good ideas. I know we're just golfers, but a bunch of us are pretty dang smart. We might have some good ideas. Thank you for your time.
Dan, thank you for those questions and comments. Does anyone else from the public wish to address the commission at this time? Commissioners, any other questions or comments? Roll call.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. And again, this was just,
I was just going to say, you're going to clarify what we just voted on for
Yep.
tonight, right? There's going to be another
so
hearing.
again, this was just the letter of intent, so it begins the relationship so we can get management operating by, I believe, July 30th. And then actually at our first August meeting, so I believe that's August 13th, we will be considering a more long-term management agreement. So we would invite anyone to attend that. There will be more golf advisory board meetings, plenty of room or time for comment. So appreciate Dan and those other individuals who brought concerns to you.
Nathan, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Has there been any consideration before the August 13th meeting to meet or to have open forums at the golf course to visit with members?
I know that Mr. Hill is going to visit with, plan a meeting with the Fox Run golf members and anyone who's interested in attending. I presume that will be in the evening hours, although I haven't discussed that with him. And we'll have some staff there as well to make sure that, we're getting all the information and things like that. So I believe so. Another public forum we have not discussed yet. We're just taking this step here tonight to see if this is something you're interested in, and then we'll go from there.
Don, thank you again for coming this evening, and thank you, Todd and Amy and the rest of our golf staff for the work that they've done in this time of transition. I know it's been difficult under the circumstances, so we appreciate it. And with that, is there any other business?
Question for the mayor. Item number 2 under new business was a memorandum 18-155 regarding the appointment of Tony and Chris to the naming. We did not take an action. Was that not necessary, or do we need to approve that appointment?
Do we need to take official action on that, Amy?
The naming rights policy isn't quite clear. It just says that 2 city commissioners will be appointed. It doesn't say appointed by the mayor. It doesn't say appointed by the commission. So I'm a little bit unclear. I'm satisfied with just the 2 volunteers as long as there isn't, other folks on the commission who are dying to be on that. Okay. It is a standing committee, so until such time that the commissioner is either not on the city commission anymore, or they choose to move off that committee, they're the 2 nominees.
Thank you.
All right, and with that, I would ask for a motion to adjourn into executive session to discuss contractual, litigation, and personnel matters under South Dakota Codified Law 1-25-2. What is your pleasure?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?